SimWorld presents Around the Table with E and the Fat Man.
What's up, everybody? It's me, it's the B.O.B., and I'm here with my man E. E, how are you doing today?
Oh, glad to be back behind the mic with you, Bob, as always.
Absolutely. Well, this is Around the Table with E and the Fat Man. That is E. I'm the Fat Man. This is the podcast where we talk about whatever we want. And today, we figured we'd talk a little bit about, it's been a kind of a hot topic here in SimWorld Prep over the last, half season. Teams that just aren't getting enough love in the media. So I figured we could take a little bit of time and talk about those teams, E, that aren't getting enough love in the media. So I'll throw it to you. Who's the team that you think isn't getting enough love?
Well, I think this is kind of timely because, it bubbled up on Discord this week. Talk that Coach Brad Lee, head of Southeast Select, is maybe somehow on the hot seat with his side being 6-6, only 500 on the year, which is ridiculous. And overall, okay, fine. Forget the past 2 years of what Southeast Select has done, but don't at the same time because they have made 2 title games. And,
Absolutely.
let's not totally forget about that right off the bat. But look, coming into the season, you're talking about a Southeast Select squad. Obviously, your biggest thing, your number one story is Trey Turner's off to college, right? So you have to replace him. And it looks like they had a replacement. Out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, Olin Carballo. Came out of kind of nowhere, really, to be honest. I don't think a whole lot of people were expecting him to be a star. And he just showed up on the scene and started to pour in the points, 21.2 per game, which definitely, I think, ranked him at the top 10 at the time. Well, to make the transition happen here, at the time of his injury. Yes, because 6 games into the season, went out injured. And so, not only have you lost Trey Turner, you've lost your new surprise scoring guard who was kind of carrying you. And yet, this team is a 500 team. They're not bad. There's a lot of time left. Everybody gets on the race to one, so it's not like they have to make the playoffs, but I think that they will be a force once they get there. Even a lot of the names on this team I think are forgotten at this point. Gabe Pope, one of the best defenders in the game, not being talked about this year like he was last year. Even though statistically he's increased his reboundings and steals, and I think he's even brought his shooting up a little bit. And then you've got those bigs on Southeast: Keandre Baldridge, Breck Baker, the young kid, and Kadarius Stack. Two veterans, one youngster, all of them playing well. I still think Southeast is going to be in this at the end of the year, and for that matter, I still think. I'm on record that I think the Southern region is the toughest region in the entire game, but I think Southeast Select, like pretty much 7 other teams in that region, all 8 of them, are going to be in a fight for that title at the end of the year. So I think Southeast is not being talked about enough, and I think sometimes when they are being talked about, there's negativity, which is completely unfounded.
Yeah, and it's one of those things I am big on, and I will always be big on. They could have a bad year. Again, like you said, forget about the last 2 seasons, but don't forget about the last 2 seasons. They have made back-to-back, like you said, back-to-back SimWorld Championship games, SimWorld Prep Championship games. You can't just throw that out the window because they might have started a little slow or whatever. Yep. But no, they have a solid team. As long as they can get it together, like you said, everybody makes the race to one. As long as they get it together for game 1 of the race to 1, they'll be fine. Yeah. There's nothing to worry about. Like you said, they got Gabe Pope, like you said. Keandre Baldridge returning was obviously big for them. Kadarius Stack returning. Those are 2 other key pieces for this team. There's nothing to worry about right now, I don't think, for Coach Brad Lee, unless there's something going on in the background that we don't know about. But
okay, fine.
But yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I just don't feel like this is a team that's really I don't feel like they're getting too much press. And like you said, if it is press for them, it's bad press. And hopefully they can turn that script around a little bit for themselves. I'm going to take it back, though. I'm going to go with one that I think that also has not been getting enough press, and that's Beyond the Arch. Are they having the greatest season? No. But I feel like they're really making do with what they have, because what do they have? They don't have a star player like a lot of the other teams have. There's no Cooper Flag or anything like that on this team. They don't have
nothing
a whole
close
lot.
to that, no.
No. And, you look up and down the you look up and down the roster, Nick Bowie has been a breakout player for them so far this season. You can't sleep
As
on
much as
him.
anybody. Yep.
Yeah,
No.
but no one's really talking about him. And the thing is, I mean, he's
No.
unranked. So when you don't see when you don't see the name in the rankings, are you really going to talk about him a whole lot? No, because you forget about them when you're on a team like this. But I mean, they have Daniel Horry. I feel like he
Mhm.
is a solid player as well. He just
I agree.
he hasn't lived up to his billing this season.
Struggled a
I
little with
thought,
the shot. Struggled a little with
yeah,
the shot this year. Yeah.
I
Yep.
really, in
Yep.
heading into this season, I really thought that Daniel Horry was going to be top three in three pointers
Yeah.
made, and I thought I'm not sure what's going on there, but I know obviously with the coaching change and everything from
Yeah.
Coach Kusa to Lightly, I mean maybe that could be affecting them a little bit, but
Yeah.
again, but beyond the arch, I
Yep.
mean they don't have the stars, but they have some pieces there that can really help them down the stretch. And if Nick Bowie can pick up his scoring just a little bit, I think they'll be all right come race to one.
Well, maybe Jax Jackson will do it. New player on the squad, got his inaugural game in the other day, put in 12
There,
points. Wasn't tremendously efficient with his shooting,
and no, but
but
he debuted. I mean, he debuted on the SimWorld Prep top 10 yesterday. So I mean, he's off to a
yeah.
hot start, right?
Yep. No, like you said, there are some good pieces here. Bowie's obviously a good piece. Jackson, Daniel Horry. I also really like their 15-year-old center, 7-footer, Paul
Yeah,
McAdams.
yeah,
Good rebounder, good passer. Um, has zero offensive game at this point.
yeah.
You know, he has no offense at all, but that's fine. He's one for the future. Look, I get why BTA isn't on the tip of everybody's tongue. I mean, they are 4-10. They are currently in last in the Neo region in eighth place.
Yep.
But no, look, I'm with you on at least liking the pieces, Bob. So
Yeah.
pick up the pieces there. There's still enough time in the season. Maybe something good could happen. But let's keep the ball in your court. You threw out your first team. Who else you got that you don't think is being talked about enough on the SimWorld scene?
You know what? They've been talked about with my last one. They've been talked about a little bit over the last week or so, but I just feel like we really, even last season in the race to one, when they made their little Cinderella run in the race to one, I just still feel like we weren't giving them enough credit. And I have to go with SimWorld Asia Pacific. This team
Hmm.
returned four of their starters on a team that made it
Yeah.
to the one game before the SimWorld Prep National Championship game. Sorry, I said what am I doing here? The race to one championship game. They returned four of their starters. They had a lot of star power coming back. Yeah, they're hurt a little bit because obviously in the off season, all the talk was Sung Chung Gu. What's he going to do for them? And
Yeah.
then all the controversy surrounding the visa and him not able to play outside of North Korea, and then now he's injured. It's just they kind of fell off, but they have Kai Newby, they still have JD Reyes, Victor Soto, I mean Devin Fields, Jinsong Dang. I mean all these guys. I I feel like 90% of the coach, if 100% of the coaches wouldn't love every single one of those players on their team, they're lying to you. They're just trying to save
Right.
face on their current team. But yeah, no, I
Yep.
don't think SimWorld Asia Pacific is getting talked about enough, and they're pulling off some big wins, just like they did last season. Everybody counted them out, and they started proving everybody wrong when it mattered most. And if they can string together a couple more strong games, I don't think people will be able to sleep on them anymore this season.
Yeah, 7-7. They've knocked off some really good teams. They are definitely battling there at the top of the Intercon with Europe and Oceania. And like you said, yeah, they brought back Kai Newby, Victor Soto, JD Reyes, Jinsong Dang as well. So you got this good returning core, and then you have the Fields, and it looks like they have a breakout star in Leonardo Fields, the 7'1"
Oh yeah,
Tokyo Tower, averaging 14
absolutely.
points and just a hair under 10 rebounds. I like his game a lot. Look, it's not APAC isn't the finished article. They're not perfect. They're not flaw free. Even looking at Kai Newby, and as much as I love Kai Newby, he is the walking definition of a volume shooter. He gets his, but it comes by putting shots up. He's 40% from the field, 27% from three, and he's by far their most prolific three-point shooter too, by the way. So look, I'm not saying these guys are unbeatable, or if they were playing, the OGs tonight, I'd be like, well, you got to like APAC here. I think on any given night, though, they can hang with anybody. So I agree they're probably not talked as much about as they should be for as well as they've really started the season.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned the OGs. They did just beat them this past week. But again, as Rick said, if you tell me every single night, if you say every single night, OGs are going to play somewhere on Asia Pacific, you're not going to bet against the OGs. So, but
No, no,
again,
you're
that's
not.
just, that to me tells you the talent that Asia Pacific really does have. They just haven't been able to
Hmm.
be a complete team this season yet. But I think they'll get there. But how about you, E? What's your last team that you think isn't getting enough love?
Well, let's see what you think about this selection, Bob, because this last team I'm going to throw out there, they are hardly a team, I guess, without some big names, and I think everybody knows they've started the season really well. But all the same, the 8-2 Heartland Zombie Stars
Oh
quietly,
yeah.
sneakily have climbed to the top of the Neo region, on top of Cascadia. Everybody talks Cascadia. Everybody loves talking Kevon Jackson, little dunk god action and whatever. But yeah, the Zombie Stars, actually, let me quickly check this. Yes, they are currently have the best winning percentage in all of SimWorld. And, it's kind of actually crazy. I think that they're not a little bit more of a headline team. You have Benari and Barkley James, who have a somewhat tumultuous past together, but the brothers are averaging more than 30 points a game.
Yep.
Doing this back in Ohio, my home state, where I'm from, by the way. And the Hilarios. We're down to two Hilarios on the Heartland Zombie Stars at this point. I think we started the season with three or four. I forget.
I'm sorry. I think
There were a
I'm pretty
bunch of
sure it
them,
was
but
like 10 of them. I can't tell. There were so many of
yeah,
them.
it was like right a Brady bunch of Hilarios. But
But I think there
look,
was three of them there.
Honcho
So,
Hardwick.
oh
Joe
yeah,
Hardwick, returning player, good player. Plachi Young, returning player, good player. Robert McGee, nice little, force down there in the paint. Doesn't play a lot of minutes, but is productive when he is getting his time on the court. There's a lot of talent on this team. There's a reason that they're 8-2, and they're also again. There's fun here. There's personalities. There's some history. You got Coach Brian Lovelace, who's been around the game for a long time. I had to pick Heartland for the show today just because I really am surprised relative to how good they've been, relative to the star power on the team, relative to how well known their coach is, and I just don't think people are talking too much Zombie Stars right now, and maybe they should
and
be.
I think, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that I think that has a lot to do with we're not getting the same. I don't want to say outburst, but I'm going to say that because I can't think of a better word. We're not getting the same outburst as
I
we are
get it.
from Benari James early in the season and Barkley James throughout the season until his
Yeah.
suspension. So they're not really
Yes.
drawing as good of a season as they are having together. They're not really
Yeah.
drawing anybody in because of their personas,
Of
if I
drama,
can put
lack
it
of
that way.
drama.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
drama there.
Yeah.
They're going out there and they're playing and they're winning.
Yeah.
And what's
Yeah.
what's to talk about? And I hate to say, I hate to say it that way, but it's what's the media love to do? Stir up drama. They
Yeah. Of
love the
course.
they
Of
love the
course.
story that's going to get people talking. And what are you going to
All
get?
we want
A
is
couple people
clicks.
saying,
We just want
yeah,
clicks, Bob.
yeah, you get a couple people saying, "Good job, Heartland," or you're going to have 100 people saying all these negative things about how Barkley James or Benari James was doing this or doing that last season. It's like, what
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
getting the
Yeah.
most clicks, like you said? And right now, they're just playing a great game of basketball, and
Well,
I wouldn't be
maybe
surprised to
that's
see
what we
them
should be
make a
talking.
little run.
That's right. Maybe that's what people should be talking about. You can leave the personalities at the door. Let's talk about a really
A-
good Heartland team that, yeah, could
Absolutely,
be in their Final Four material, right? So, yeah, we'll see.
absolutely,
A
I
lot of
think
ball to be
so.
played, but we can see that happen.
No, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think those are four good picks today, E.
Yeah, I like it.
Um, I mean, I'm sure we probably missed someone here or there, but I'm sure we'll hear about it in the comments. That's what we're here for, right?
That's what it's there for. Yep.
But E, is there anything you have final for the people?
No, folks, enjoy the Grammys tonight. And if you're out on the West Coast like me, try to stay dry. It is not easy.
Well, I appreciate you, E, as always, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend.
Later, folks.